everyone.
Welcome back to another lesson. This one is called Less Pollution, and we are still part of week number 22 in unit number 3.
So why do we need to reduce pollution? What do you think we need to take care of the earth?
Think about it. Think about your daily lives. Think about when you're traveling in the car. Think about when you're traveling by aeroplanes. Think about every time you buy something on the street or in a shop. What do you do? And does what you do have an impact on your surrounding? And does everything you do eventually lead to pollution or not?
And think about the previous lessons, what you saw before as well.
So today we will learn about less pollution to be able to write ratios showing comparison of two quantities that are cardinal numbers from messages or events, and specifying self-conduct for safety from natural disasters, together with explaining the importance of historical methodology in making a simple study of historical events.
Okay, let's move to the vocabulary. The first one is a verb, reduce. First, reduce pollution, reduce trash. It's to have less. I want to reduce my fat food. So I will reduce food, fast food. So to have less for something.
The second is reuse, which is also a verb. So reuse means to use again. So if you have a plastic bag that you take shopping, you can reuse the same bag again and again. So that is what reuse means.
Then you have an adjective, non-toxic. So something that is not toxic. So it's not with chemical, it's something that is not dangerous for the human.
And the last is biodegradable. So biodegradable is a very important adjective for pollution. Anything that is not biodegradable cannot be broken down by nature. Okay? So if you keep a banana outside for a long time, it will turn green in color, and then you'll have a lot of mosquitoes around it, and then eventually the banana will become gas. The same thing with a lot of things, with trees, with leaves, everything is biodegradable. However, plastic and thermocol, they are non-biodegradable because they are chemicals that are created by humans, and so they are non-biodegradable. Okay, so this is a very important adjective for pollution.
Is a person, Greta Thunberg. I don't know if you see her before already, but we will see her in the next lessons.
So, what can we as individuals, as you and me, and as society do to prevent pollution and climate change? Okay? So the problem is not just pollution. Pollution is something that you can see, but because of pollution, you have climate change, and that is affecting the earth. Okay, so let's take a look at this video, and we'll return on the other side of this video.
So why do we need to prevent pollution? So we had to do now before the same question. So why do we need to prevent pollution? So here you have a picture, gives a lot of information. Why do we need to prevent pollution? So what will happen if we don't prevent pollution? So what do you think will happen if we continue to destroy the earth? So here you have an example already. So try to write 3 or 4 examples and try to write it down on the A4 paper.
Yeah, so think of air pollution, think of land pollution, think of water pollution, think about all the living organisms it will destroy, think about how oxygen will reduce, think about carbon dioxide, think about rising temperatures. Okay, so all of that is why we need to prevent pollution.
So he is Leonardo DiCaprio, maybe you know him. He did many famous movies, but he's also considered and aware about climate change. So he made a documentary, so he's a little trailer to see what he discovered during his documentary.
2014 will go down as the warmest year around the globe in recorded history.
2015 was the hottest year since climate records began.
Figures show this July was the single hottest month in recorded history.
Australia sweltered through its hottest spring on record.
The phenomenon was a short-term trigger to a long-term global warming caused by human activity.
Climate change is now affecting every country on every continent.
It's the rate that's of great concern.
And what do you put that rate down to, Bill?
Oh, it's human activity.
I think it's ridiculous. We have bigger problems right now, and it'll get cooler, it'll get warmer. It's called weather.
I do not believe that human activity is causing these dramatic changes to our climate the way these scientists are portraying.
1.2 million people died because of the pollution put up into the air.
This is a result of climate change. It's only going to get worse. This is a big problem, and it's not going to go away.
The debate is over. Climate change is real. It is already causing major problems. And if we do not act boldly and decisively, a bad situation will become worse.
As a UN messenger of peace, I have traveled all over the world for the last 2 years documenting how this crisis is changing the natural balance of our planet. I have seen cities like Beijing choked by industrial pollution, ancient boreal forests in Canada that have been clear-cut, and rainforests in Indonesia that have been incinerated. In India, I met farmers whose crops have been literally washed away by historic flooding. In America, I have witnessed unprecedented droughts in California and sea level rise flooding the streets of Miami. In Greenland and in the Arctic, I was astonished to see that ancient glaciers are rapidly disappearing, well ahead of scientific predictions. All that I have seen and learned on my journey has absolutely terrified me. There is no doubt in the world scientific community that this is a direct result of human activity and that the effects of climate change will become astronomically worse in the future. Our planet cannot be saved unless we leave fossil fuels in the ground where they belong. Now think about the shame that each of us will carry when our children and grandchildren look back and realize that we had the means of stopping this devastation, but simply lacked the political will to do so. Yes, we have achieved the Paris Agreement. More countries have come together here to sign this agreement today than for any other cause in the history of humankind, and that is reason for hope. But unfortunately, the evidence shows us that it will not be enough. A massive change is required right now, one that leads to a new collective consciousness, a new collective evolution of the human race, inspired and enabled by a sense of urgency from all of you. We can congratulate each other today, but it will mean absolutely nothing if you return to your countries and fail to push beyond the promises of this historic agreement. Now is the time for bold, unprecedented action. It is time to declare no more talk, no more excuses, no more 10-year studies, no more allowing the fossil fuel companies to manipulate and dictate the science and policies that affect our future. The world is now watching. You will either be lauded by future generations or vilified by them. You are the last best hope of Earth. We ask you to protect it, or we and all living things we cherish are history.
All right, welcome back from the video. And here we've just given you an example of a poster, and this will be part of your thinking tool. And just take a look at this, gather some ideas, and you can use them as part of your thinking tool eventually.
So you can draw exactly the same picture, or you can add some other ideas, but try to have the same idea of it as a poster.
Okay, so the 3 R's, reduce, reuse, and recycle, are very, very important for the poster. So this is another very, very important topic. We would like you to draw this on an A4 size paper. You can draw this on the back of your thinking tool. Okay, so during COVID-19 lockdown, the air pollution in India actually improved. And can you guess why that happened? Right? So as you can see from the left-hand side, you have COVID-19. And then the factories were shut down, there was no traffic on the roads, there's a lot of social distancing, humans were moving less, And as a result of that, the air quality improved significantly. So in 2019, 56% of the days the air was unhealthy, whereas in 2020, that was down to 15%, and 36% was moderate pollution. So there was significant improvement in air pollution. Even in Thailand, you may be aware that Thailand has Koh Phi Phi, which is one of the most famous islands, and the coral reefs actually began to emerge because there were less people visiting Koh Phi Phi. Okay? So if you want, you can add that as an idea, or otherwise just copy this diagram on the back of your thinking tool.
Here a little prevention video from the UNESCO. Very interesting and funny video, how a dinosaur is making a lesson to the human.
You okay? You need a minute? Cool. Okay. Listen up, people. I know a thing or two about extinction. And let me tell you, and you'd kind of think this would be obvious, going extinct is a bad thing. And driving yourselves extinct? In 70 million years, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. At least we had an asteroid. What's your excuse? You're headed for a climate disaster, and yet every year governments spend hundreds of billions of public funds on fossil fuel subsidies. Imagine if we had spent hundreds of billions per year subsidizing giant meteors. That's what you're doing right now. Think of all the other things you could do with that money. Around the world, people are living in poverty. Don't you think helping them would make more sense than, I don't know, paying for the demise of your entire species? Let me be real for a second. You've got a huge opportunity right now. As you rebuild your economies and bounce back from this pandemic, this is humanity's big chance. So here's my wild idea. Don't choose extinction. Save your species before it's too late. It's time for you humans to stop making excuses and start making changes. Thank you.
Hey, welcome back. And here we have a poster for you. So this is your thinking tool. And we showed you a previous poster, and that was to tell you to use the 3 R's, which is reduce, reuse, and recycle. And here are some other ideas on what you can do for your thinking tool. So you can draw it however you want, but the 3 R's are very, very important in preventing pollution.
What have you learned from this lesson? Write everything down on your notebook. Then don't forget to write the meaning in Thai and in English.
Okay, and the thinking tool, make sure you are able to use the 3 R's for your poster. The topic is less pollution. And at the back of your thinking tool, write the ratio of the air pollution in India, what happened to the air pollution after COVID-19 lockdown. Okay, and do this on an A4 size paper, and you can bring it back to school when you come back.
Okay, see you for the next lesson.
Yeah, goodbye.
Bye-bye.